as my in fact next question, I would like to ask you about your duo firenze. So
Okay.
not like your duo with your wife,
Yes.
Pamela Trent. Could you please tell us more about it?
hmm Um, so I mentioned earlier, I am
Mhm.
interested in chamber music. Not just interested, I love it. It's important. It's part of who we are. We're social beings, not just, in a closet playing alone.
Mhm.
So as I began to investigate more of the 19th century repertoire, I came across piano and guitar duos. And I'm married to a pianist. So I wondered about this. So we played through some music. In those days, nobody knew this repertoire. So we were playing through some of the music and we like it. And I think, the problem is the modern piano is too
Mhm.
loud and the modern guitar is too soft compared to that.
So,
But,
exactly.
but with a forte piano and even an early guitar, which is smaller sound, I can sometimes still play louder than the forte piano. In other words, they were designed for each other. The design is for each other. Um, I pursued this in some lectures early on where I just had audio, just the sound,
Mhm.
and I'm playing this examples for an audience, and I said, so what you're going to hear is two instruments with a combined sound,
Mhm.
not so much meant to be independent, but a composite.
Mhm.
And that's why it works. And I said, I challenge you to tell me which instrument's playing. Who has the melody?
Mhm.
They sound so much alike, even in tone,
Yeah.
that I said, I know, raise your hand when you can tell. And I know when you'll be able
Mhm.
to tell when you can hear them independently. And they smile, I smile. And do you know how you can tell the difference? The guitar has vibrato. Now, the truth is they are meant to blend, but they have different registers. And this was something about the past, not to blend the entire range of an instrument so it's all sounding the same, but to have different registers. So bright sounds brighter, middle, and
Mhm.
bass sounds very different. This is true with the forte piano. Very bright and thin in top, nice even in the middle, and the bass is kind
Mhm.
of stringy sounding, more like a guitar. I love that the colors.
Yeah.
So um, she became convinced uh, to invest. We invested in our instruments to do this. So I already had some guitars, but she had not a forte piano. We always borrowed one. So that was another. I didn't have to convince her because she already, unlike me, she liked Mozart and
Mhm.
Beethoven. And
It's
Mozart,
very interesting point.
yeah, Mozart's perfect. And early Beethoven, oh my gosh. I tell you now, I can't go back. I mean, it's hard for me to listen to that music on
Me.
modern Steinway or Bosendorf. Same with guitar. I mean, the Mertz Fantasie Angloise without
Mhm.
those bass notes, ah, it's a whole different piece. Um, so again, each instrument has a purpose and something they're best at.
Mhm.
So I play my six-string modern guitar for modern music, with the exception of the Tolkien piece.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, so why not? Why not enjoy all these different flavors? We were given in
Yeah.
life. We were given in life different spices and flavors and food, and we like colors and different clothing.
Uh,
Why not with music? Of course. And you have the right tool for the right job.
it's really interesting. It's really, really interesting. Um, Now, dear Robert, if you allow me, I would like to ask you about your guitar festival. You're also the
Okay.
director of Radford Guitar Festival since 2000. Please
Mhm.
tell us more about it. And is there a possibility for international students to participate in this festival?
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely. Um, so the first thing I'll say about this festival is that there are no ticket sales. All the events are free for anyone who attends. Uh, the reason is we write grants. The students write the grants at the university,
you.
and I help them with that, of course. And the purpose is to have a kind of invitation with no remove a barrier for someone who's never
Mhm,
come to a guitar concert
mhm,
or a lute concert or anything,
mhm,
and build the audience. So it's free for anyone. The only thing people need to do is, of course, have, if they're coming far, is to
mhm,
have housing and food in the area. Um, for the artists too, it is an international artist because we have artists from every continent where there is guitar, and
mhm,
for them, aside from the fees, the grants are to cover their fees, right? So there's no other expenses. Um, and we place them in people's homes so that they're
mhm,
connected with the community. And also, that brings more people in. And they get to know
yeah,
artists instead of, we're just, on stage and then you
mhm,
don't get to know us. So I think that's important. So, how did it begin? Well, I'm a proponent of international education. I think it's important for everybody to travel, to break down barriers. And I try to get my students to study abroad, even for a summer. However, I came to find that really it's difficult, that financially, they just couldn't afford it. So I thought the first idea is to bring a little bit of the world to them, even for a few days. That's the first thing. And then, of course, it's good for the community to see a little bit of the world that they're not seeing. Um, it started with just a couple of artists one day. It's now a 2-day festival. We typically have 4 to 5 artists. The other thing, to tie in with what I said about chamber music, unless students see it, unless the community sees it, it's not real. They won't believe it's a viable path, that it
mhm,
can work. So one of our goals is to always bring some chamber music. That includes, a guitarist. Um, and so chamber music, solos, um, lectures, and of course master classes, because we are a university, so there has to be.
yeah,
The only time I'll tell students I would veto a choice they make is
mhm,
if I feel they're a great player but maybe not a great teacher.
mhm,
It has to be both. The person we bring has to be
yeah,
both. Yeah. So
that-
it's
that's
yeah, it's been quite a few years now. I'm very pleased at that.
And I know, unfortunately, this year, because of COVID-19,
Yeah.
there was not a possibility to hold the festival. I hope you can do it next year.
I know we all do. We all hope we can all do this. I think this will end and life will go on. It might be somewhat different, but yeah, I'm determined that we'll make this work in the spring. Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, if you allow me, I would like to talk about your newest album.
Uh-huh.
If I'm not wrong, is Barcaroles and Fantasies.
Yes.
Which kind of compositions you have recorded for this album?
Yeah, so it turned out to be Robert Trent as I really am, eclectic. So there's a piece by me, living composer so far, and
Fantastic.
there's a piece by another living composer, friend of mine, Daniel Crozier, who just won a big prize for his opera. And then, let's see, after that, there's the Opus 65 triptych, all three pieces of Johann Caspar Merz, his Trois Morceaux. And then Napoleon Coste, La Source du Lison. And is a piece, Fantasia Gitano by Antonio Jimenez Manjon, South American from the late 19th century, who played an 11-string guitar and composed for it. Did I miss something? Let's see. I think that's it. So the album, like my concerts, tends to come together slowly around a concept. So as the title is Barcaroles and Fantasies. So water, or music to be on the water, and fantasies. So the Gitano fantasy, the Merz, some are fantasies. One is La Gondolière, which is, of course, to be played on the water. It's a barcarolle. And my piece, of course, is in the fantasy part of the album. And the coast is really fantasy because it's about water, though. So you can see I like these connections. And Daniel Crozier's piece, his new piece he wrote for me, is a barcarolle. I like these connections, and usually long pieces, big pieces normally, because I find as a performer I focus better with something long than short little chopped up, my favorite pieces for this year. It takes me a long time to put a program together, but it comes around one or more concepts. Actually a newer album that's coming out this summer is called East Meets West. That's all on 6-string guitar, and it has two composers from the U.S., one who lives East Coast, one who lives West Coast, but it goes deeper than that. So the one, Ronald Pearl, he lives East Coast, but his piece is called My Name is Red, after the prize-winning novel by Orhan Pamuk, which is set in the 14th century Ottoman Empire. So it's kind of East meets West right in that piece. And he uses a barcarolle, a Mendelssohn kind of quasi Mendelssohn piece, but the guitar is retuned to sound, of kind of Middle Eastern instrument. So then, and he wrote a piece for me. And then the other composer is Ian Krauss, well-known West Coast composer, writes large orchestral pieces and cantatas. He wrote a piece on the Edgar Allan Poe story that Nikita Koshkin wrote.
Mm.
No, I can't think of this story. But where Nikita's piece is one movement, this is three, and it's about 25
Mhm.
minutes long, and it's one of the hardest pieces I've ever played. Both psychic energy, physical energy. I was really drained. I'm drained after every performance of that.
Mhm.
So that one has a long story to it. In fact, in the score, Ian Krauss has, I think it's about 4 or 5 pages of descriptions of this piece. It's,
Wow.
yeah, well, the short story is, it's, he says he didn't write it. He says it was written by, Roderick Usher. The Koshkin piece
Okay.
is, from the Edgar Allan Poe, the American writer
Yeah.
of the 19th century,
Yeah.
Fall of the House of Usher. So,
Yeah.
Krauss says he found this piece written by Roderick Usher, who's a fiction.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
says he
Yeah.
reconstructed it. And that the beginning is like the house being decrepit. The second movement, well, the third movement is the highlight because in the story of The Fall of the House of Usher, Roderick Usher is the main character who goes mad. He's a
Mhm.
guitarist. So
Yeah.
supposedly this is Roderick Usher's composition as he's going crazy, as he goes mad. So
Mm.
it's a physical piece, you have to kind of
Yeah.
become mad. Um,
Yeah.
the piece that Roderick Usher plays is a real piece. It's Carl Maria von Weber's Little Waltz. And he's
Mm.
improvising and he's going crazy in the story.
Mm.
So now just to back out of the details, here is a piece written by a fictional character in a book who plays a piece by a real composer,
Mhm.
and Roderick Usher supposedly dedicates the piece to his teacher, Fernando Sor. So a fictional character who studied with a real composer playing a real piece.
Oh.
Lots of layers, huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
Yeah.
that should be,
Probably.
it'll be a premiere recording of these things. Yeah.
It's brilliant. How could we buy and listen this album? Could you please
Oh, okay.
tell about?
This one is not yet released. If
Okay.
people are interested, just write to me, and I'll be sure to announce to people who are interested. I can put them on a mailing list. They can get it first. They just email me. It's fine. The Soundset one with the 10-string guitar is already
Mhm.
available at Soundset, and it's
Okay.
streaming on 40 different platforms worldwide. Yeah. The one with the
Thank.
Krauss with the modern music um,
Mhm.
should come out the end of the summer, and it's on. Everyone will know this label, Naxos, Naxos.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic. Dear Robert, have you started any project in these days of quarantine?
um, well, let's see. Yeah. Um, I'm playing all kinds of music to see what inspires me and to
Mm.
see what comes to me about the kind of programs I tell you that I've tried to
Mm.
explain.
Mm.
Eclectic, but has a unifying theme to it. That's why it takes so long. I mean, that to me, that's more meaning. I feel more committed, and I want the concert to be like a journey for people through that theme. So I'm just reading a lot of music, and my one project is Well, two projects. I'm working on writing preludes to 19th century music, because these days everybody knows that Roland Dians would improvise a little bit before his piece, but actually that was normal practice. And Giuliani, among others, wrote little preludes to play before you play a piece, in different keys. So they did that. Roland Dians does that. Jazz guitars do it. Why aren't we doing it? So I improvise, but for young students, they'll want to have an example. So I'm writing some preludes as improvisation in different keys that they can use. Then to encourage them to make up their own. And the other thing is the part of the 10-string guitar, the third reason that I told my wife I'm finally going to do, which is I'm adapting a Bach lute suite to the 10-string guitar.
Mhm.
It's just kind of a natural with those low bass notes. Yeah. So.
Thank you. As my next question, I would like to know your opinion about 432 hertz tuning. What's your idea about this kind of tuning?
The tuning.
You like
that pitch level, the modern tuning. Well, I mean, most of the time I use 440 for A, for La. But with the 19th century guitars, I tune lower, typically. We know that's a historical fact. So is that the only reason to do it? No, I don't think that's enough of a reason. But the instrument sounds different if we do like, a quarter step low, and it's not that much lower, is generally where early to mid 19th century pitch was. It's about a quarter step low. And then if you go Baroque, it's about a half step low. I think, again, back to color, why not? It doesn't have to be. And it doesn't have to be 440 either. In fact, we know now that pitch is rising already. Orchestras around the world are raising the pitch to the degree that some people have to buy new instruments. I'm not so sure that's a good enough reason. I'm glad I'm not forced to. I'm deciding on my own, for aesthetic reason, for color, pitch, effect. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Robert. As my last question, but not the least, what are your advices to the young guitarists and composers?
Okay. Well, first, do both. At least improvise. At least improvise. It gives you an insight when you work with composers as to what their struggle is. Improvise. Be good sight readers, for opportunities that may come up tonight. The way I tell my students this, so someone comes to you today, or I do, and I say, I can't do this performance tonight. If you can do this, it's $1,000. Are you ready? If your answer is no, you have work to do. And the truth of that is, and I tell them this, if they're listening to this, their eyes are going to roll back in their heads, because I say it to them all the time. But my personal experience is why. Okay, I really worked hard at sight reading, and I had a teacher that pushed that. But I really wanted to do it, to be good at it, so I could easily join with a flutist or a pianist or a violinist or a string quartet. I wanted to do that. But if I couldn't go there and sit and read with them, I wouldn't get asked back, right? And so we're social beings. You want to meet people. You know, business people have to take a card and go have drinks and all this stuff. Our kind of networking is pleasurable. We play music together, and that's a way to get more work. So, sight reading, yeah. I bought my first house, condominium, by myself from that work, not from teaching. It was from that work. You know, and
Yep.
if you can get like that first case I gave you, like if someone called tonight and you say, oh, they say, oh my gosh, you know, the concert's tonight, and our guitarist is sick and he can't do it, and we'll pay you more because if you save them, they will call you again. Not only that, they will tell other people, oh, Ashkan saved me. He came last night. Yeah, and he played it like perfect the first night with no rehearsal. Really? See, and they tell people. So sight reading is worth real money. And again, so the social aspect, right, of meeting more people, that's good enough. I mean, right, for people who don't want to be professional but are social, let's play cards. No, let's play trios. Let's play chess. No, I have another friend. Let's play trios.
Well, real.
So what I'm saying is not just for those who want to be professional, but it's a pleasure to make music with other people. So that just be committed. If you want to make a living, be really committed. Lots of hours, lots more work than anybody else. But so if you're committed to that many hours and that it means something to you with all those hours, and that the hours fly by, that you're not counting down. Am I done yet? Let's see. No, oh, it's not quite an hour. I better, I have to play 2 more minutes. If that's the answer, don't do it. I mean, just have fun, but don't be professional. If you don't watch the clock, and you're just working, and it's fun work, maybe it's right for you. That's the best I can say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robert. It was a great pleasure. It was a great pleasure to have you, and I hope we could have you again another time.
Oh, I would enjoy that very much. Really wonderful. Thanks for inviting me. I had fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Good evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Buonanotte.
Grazie. Buona giornata.
Da niente. Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, dear friends, for watching us. We will continue these interviews, and thank you once more again. Have a great time.